Greetings, fellow Dons. My name is Maya Jeffra. I'm the actual instructor for Rhet 110, your course. I first just want to say welcome to USF. Um, Maybe for many of you, welcome to San Francisco. Um, what an exciting place and college to be commencing the rest of your academic career. I hope that you're settling in, but please know that our course will will participate in helping you settle in by acclimating to not only the college but to the city itself. As you're going to find out, our course is actually designed around getting to know San Francisco and the Bay Area in a way that perhaps you don't currently. And even for those of you who are natives to the place, there might be a couple of you in the audience, um, we're going to explore the Bay Area in perhaps a way that you haven't. And certainly, hopefully, you bring your own insight as a native to the place as well. But I get ahead of myself because that's the topic of our course. Um, I am really sorry that I'm not there for the first couple weeks of the class. I was awarded a Ragdale residency, and so I am currently on the banks of Lake Michigan. This is where I am being asked just to write for several weeks. Um, I I finish the residency during week 3 of our class, and so I will be coming back and we'll have a normal class. But in the meantime, we are going to have an online component, but have no fear. It is definitely engaged, and it's going to have a very similar feel to the experience if we were to meet for classes for 4 of the classes, because we're missing 4 classes on ground. Luckily, we have Canvas, which is a wonderful online system, and we'll be able to utilize it so that we don't feel like we fall behind in any way. I'll talk more about that in a moment. First, I just want to talk about what our class is. It is called Rhet 110. It might also be called Written Communication. It could be Communication. Many courses on college campuses call it Composition. But one thing is certain: every single college requires first year writing. Many colleges require much more than that. And there is a reason for this. It's because if there is any technology that we have developed in the course of human history that is more important, it is language. It is the fact that we have somehow moved beyond a species of animal that communicates perfunctorily to being able to communicate beyond our own physical bodies and to be able to exact our desire upon external forces in such a dynamic way. It is truly what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom. And even more than learning fire, developing the wheel, language has become our tantamount technology. Granted, all those things kind of work in concert to have us develop the way we have, but this truly is the greatest thing that we've ever created. And colleges know this. Our societies know this, which is why we push towards literacy. And certainly at the university level, we are trying to develop that technology in a way that is most sophisticated. Because there is a couple things that we understand about the development of humankind, and it is that while language is problematic, it's not perfect, it does help us in not only understanding the world around us and understanding each other, but if developed well and if made as sophisticated as it potentially can be, it actually helps delimit conflict. I mean, think about it. Conflict is a product of misunderstanding of the communication of those desires of other people, right? I mean, think about how many times we express in a moment of crisis and conflict, "You're not understanding what I'm saying," or "You're not listening to me," or I just can't say this in a way that I want to. I can't express how I feel." These are all examples of where language not necessarily breaks down, but language hasn't been mastered in a way that can articulate our desires. And again, while we will never fully be able to 100% articulate our desires through language in the exact way that we want them to, it doesn't mean that we can't get close. And what communication, the development of communication is not only the written form and not only the development of our vocabulary, but also how we communicate, how we manipulate our language for a particular audience or for a particular circumstance. All these things are part of the complex of communication, and that's why our course is called Rhetoric, because that's what rhetoric is. It's utilizing language in particular modalities for particular audiences in particular circumstances, because it's all part of this ability to communicate what it is that we want. Again, to exact our desire upon external forces. We're going to be talking about that a lot throughout the semester, but I think it's important to understand that that's what our course is designed to do. And ultimately, what does that mean? Well, the idea is for us to lessen conflict in our lives, to lessen the drama. It is to become a better professional, to become a better thinker. But more than that, it's also to become a better friend, a better lover, a better citizen. All of these things can be improved through our ability to communicate effectively. I think we know this deep in our hearts, but I think it's also worth repeating, because it is the way for us to achieve success more than any other way. And let's dedicate ourselves to that effort. No matter if you're here as a math major, or you're here as a dance major, you're here as a psychology major, we all use language every day because we think in terms of it, we communicate using it, we get the things that we want through it. So we should all be studying it like it's a major. All right, enough on that. You'll probably hear me proselytize about the virtues of language acquisition and sophistication over the course of the semester, because I do truly believe in it. But why don't we go to our first piece of language technology, which for our course is our syllabus. And as you know, syllabi are they're designed as a contract, because as you will discover, and probably already know, every single college course is different. Not only because it specializes in a particular topic, but each instructor has a different methodology or approach to the way that they feel is best to communicate the content of their course. And so I wanted to go over some of that with you so that you're familiar with my strategy. Again, welcome, Rhetoric 110. Our course meets in Education 102, where you're sitting, on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 9:15 to 10:20. 9:15 to 10:20. Attendance is crucial. You know this. The only way to learn is to be, and the only way to be is to sit in class. And you're probably thinking, oh, 9:15, that's easy, you know? You just come from high school where you were getting up earlier, but you will be surprised. College life is different. There are going to be so many important experiences in college that are not related to the classroom. You're going to be having those 2 o'clock in the morning conversations with your suite mates or someone on the college campus. And a lot of these kinds of interactions are transformative. You're going to be going out into the city as an independent adult, a very dynamic city that stays up very late, and you're going to be having wonderful experiences. I am here to applaud those experiences because they are part of the learning process. And I will even be helping you facilitate those with my own kind of advice. But it also means that you'll have the temptation to sleep in. But please realize you signed up for a 9:15 course. Please come. On the days that you can't make it or you're going to be late, I don't need excuses as to why you're going to be late or absent, but I do want you to communicate with me. So in that opening information on the syllabus, under phone number, that is my cell phone. I give you that because especially if you're going to be absent or late, I would really like you to text me. Just so that I know where you are and that you're okay. Again, you don't need to give me a reason. I trust that you want to be in the course. I mean, you're paying for college. So I imagine that there is a reason for your lateness or absence. But I do and would appreciate the respect of open communication. Okay, so you can either communicate via cell, you can text me, you can email me through Canvas, or email me. My email address, mjeffra@usfca.edu, is on the syllabus. Okay. Most importantly, the main takeaway from this is communicate, and that's the nature of our course. And it certainly is good to get into the habit of being open with your communication. It will facilitate success in your life overall. And so let's practice that behavior in this class as well. Cool? Further down, required texts. So we have two books that we're going to be using in the class, and then I'm also going to be assigning a lot of digitized online readings that I'm going to populate onto the Canvas, which is our online component of the course. All assignments, all assignment prompts, all readings that are not in the texts will be on Canvas. So we'll be using that technology quite a bit in our course. It's especially going to be useful for the first couple weeks because we're not meeting on ground as a class. So please get familiar with Canvas. And if you have any questions about that, let me know. But the two books that we're going to be using for our course, one is more of an applied text. It's called They Say, I Say. And I like this text because it's really practical. It has a lot of exercises and templates for developing writers to just adopt, to basically adopt and to steal so that they can use them in training themselves on how to write sophisticated, complex ideas. We'll be reading quite a bit from the text, and we'll be applying the readings into exercises that we'll do as a way to just make sure that we're embodying the concepts and strategies that they purport in the book itself. Okay. The second text is more topic-oriented. The topic of our course is making sense of the San Francisco Bay Area. So we are going to be examining issues of history, issues of politics, social movements, and even the geography of the place, because all of those contribute to this highly mythologized and dynamic place that you have decided to go to college. And I feel like what a great opportunity in a first-year course to become acclimated to the metropolitan in a way that you might not otherwise be exposed to. So this topic-oriented book is called Infinite City by Rebecca Solnit. It is one of my favorite texts of all time, um, of, of all eras. It is a wonderful collection of essays written by natives and people that live in the Bay or have lived in the Bay. And they are accompanied with um, these kind of unique map renderings that aren't orthodox. Um, they aren't maps that necessarily identify how to get from point A to point B. They are more conceptual in nature, and they immediately correspond to the essays that are written about the Bay Area, primarily San Francisco. So I love this text. I think you will too. It's really fascinating, and it's going to characterize a lot of the conversations that we have in our course. In the second half, for example, we will be examining particular neighborhoods of the city and understanding different aspects of city life through those examinations of neighborhoods, like racial profiling and gentrification, um, what we call ghettoization, um, immigrant enclaving, just looking at all these kind of fascinating and applicable characteristics that occur in many cities, but are particularly endemic to San Francisco and the Bay Area. So I'm hoping that we really enjoy those sections of the course, and then you just get to know the neighborhoods a lot better, and you get to know a little bit more about the history and contemporary social, cultural, and political climate of the Bay. So that book is kick-ass. Let's go further down. There's a lot of information here in the syllabus regarding confidentiality and time management, academic integrity. Please review those things. They're obviously important. You'll get to know a lot more about the nature of our college and how it establishes its policies. Please read when you get a chance. But for the sake of expedition, particularly our course, move down to page 3. And this is the course requirements. We're going to be obviously doing quite a bit of writing, but different types of writing throughout the course, since there are so many ways to respond to ideas and to articulate ideas. And we want to expose ourselves to all the different ways of doing that that will particularly be efficacious for our college experience as scholars and as thinkers. We will have formal writing assignments, 3 in particular, one being a visual analysis that will relate to the ideas of the California Dream and how readings that we read articulate it, and then, of course, how we articulate it through our own perspective. We will have a research paper that that focuses on the concept of ethnogenesis, which just means an evolution of culture. And we will choose our own neighborhood, place, point of interest, community, organization, or culture found in the Bay, and kind of profile its evolution over a period of time, and then try to unpack what has contributed to that evolution and what the ramifications of that evolution are. Again, a way to get to know the city and the Bay Area in a much more intimate way, in a scholarly way. And then lastly, of the formal essays, you will be doing a critical self-reflection of just your own development in the course, and what you feel have been the takeaways that have been most important for you, and then what you feel like you need to work on. It's always good to reflect. Writing is one of the best ways to do that. We're also going to be doing a more multimodal project that investigates the experiences and the receptions around the complex topic of immigration. I feel like we cannot talk about the Bay without talking about immigration. And in particular, one, because we have one of the largest immigrant populations in the world, but also, as you know, the current cultural and political climate have had most of the American imagination considering the issues around immigration. So I think we should tackle those head on so that we can form perhaps a more developed and complex perspective on that issue itself. What better way to do it than in a class that deals with the Bay Area in an applied way? We're also going to be writing more informal assignments. I call them thinking or rhetoric papers. And it's basically small papers that respond to readings that we have or to discussions that we have in preparation for perhaps our more formal assignments. But in general, just so that we can just think formally. I think as many of you know, when you write, you process through the thoughts in your mind in a much more developed way. Basically, what I'm hoping that you all get out of this, and I'm going to be championing over the course of our semester, is that write down your thoughts. While we may have incredibly sophisticated ideas kind of rolling around in that gray matter, they don't develop and evolve in as sophisticated a way as when we write through them as well. That is the power of writing. And so any way that we can externalize those thoughts, the better, because we develop as thinkers, as citizens, as human beings. So that's what those thinking papers are for. And you're going to see a lot of them will contribute to further development in things that you're going to be doing, and they're going to help you articulate yourself. Obviously, we're going to have reading, and when we look at the weekly assignments, I'll be able to show you what those reading assignments are so that you can follow along consistently. Okay? We're also going to be working with visuality as well. We're going to be doing our own kind of mapping projects that will help us indeed be thinking about our writing. We are visual creatures, not just lexical ones. So we want to employ all of the different kinds of criticality in order to develop our writing style and our rhetorical strategies. Okay. If you go further down, you can see the grading. This is page 4 of the syllabus. You have how we're going to be evaluating our progress. And then beyond that are the range of grades. So, you know, what the grading system is at USF. Just important for you to know. If you have any questions about any of that, I'd be happy to answer them. Okay? And then lastly, our schedule of meetings and assignments. As you see, the schedule is broken up by the week and the day, specifically the day of the week and the specific date. The middle column is required reading, and assigned readings will be due that day. So for Friday, August 24th, you're asked to have already read the preface and introduction from They Say, I Say, the Rawls essay, California, A Place, a People, a Dream, and then Solnit's introductory essay on the inexhaustibility of the city. So you would have those read on that day. Okay. And then in the right column is the what's up, what's due. Any written assignment is going to be in bold. That is also due on the day of the week of the row. So as you can see, thinking paper number 1 is due Monday, August 27th. Okay. Just keep that in mind. We will stick to the agenda on the syllabus, mainly because you're going to be juggling several classes, and you certainly don't want to be confused by changing dates and not exactly knowing if we're following the syllabus accurately. I like to try to stick with that because I always respected my instructors that did that. Okay. For the first couple weeks, let's go over that explicitly. Since we are going to be we're going to have our online component for the first 4 class meetings. I wanted to make sure that it was really clear what you need to do. Okay. I will post a lecture for each of the days that we are supposed to meet, but we're going to be meeting online until I return to the Bay Area. So specifically, I will have a lecture, an online lecture much like this one, for Friday, August 24th, Monday, August 27th, Wednesday, August 29th, and Friday, August 31st. In addition to those lectures that I'll ask you to watch, they'll be relatively short. I will also have an exercise for us to do through Canvas, a discussion. And that way we can begin thinking about the readings that I've assigned for those days, because they all are developing certain ideas and strategies and principles that will lead us into writing more formal assignments. So please treat the online component of our course much like you would if you were attending class. But obviously, instead of going into a classroom, you're going to be going onto your computer. Essentially, that's the difference. And hopefully it's clear. And if you do have any questions, please just email me or text me or call me. We can Skype, we can do any of this, okay? I want to make sure it's nice and clear for you so that you don't feel like you're in the dark. But those are the only 4 class meetings that we're actually missing, that we're going to be doing the online component for. Because in week 3, we have our Labor Day holiday on that Monday. And then we're going to do student conferences. And so the only difference there, instead of meeting in my office, which is on the 4th floor of the Gleason Library, we are going to do Skype or FaceTime or whatever technology you have that I'll just adjust to. We're going to be doing one-on-one communication conferences. That is at once to discuss the first formal assignment in the class, but it's also so I just get to see you and get to know you before I return. So those conferences are week 3, and I'm going to have sign-ups for days and times of those conferences on Canvas, on the class Canvas page. It's going to be easy to sign up, and I'll have instructions for that in one of the preceding video lectures that I provide for you. Okay. After that, then business as usual. Starting Monday, September 10th, we will meet as a classroom, and we'll have the virtue of being able to discuss live. But hopefully the way I've designed this online component won't feel too disruptive, and certainly any confusions and challenges that people have, they can communicate to me. I'm wide open. I just happen to be in a different part of the country. But otherwise, please do not feel inconvenient, that you're inconveniencing me in any way. I am an instructor, and instructors are public servants, and I'm here to help facilitate learning in the best way possible. Okay? Please look over anything from the weekly schedule, but it should be fairly self-explanatory. For Friday, please, again, make sure you read the assignments, and then you're going to be watching the video lecture that I have prepared. And also, there is a discussion that I would like you to do by the end of the day on Friday, which is just introducing yourself. It's already posted, so just look under the week 1 module. I just want to get to know you a little bit while I'm away. I'm going to be providing information for you as well, and that's just so that we feel a little bit familiar. So please post the introduction, follow the instructions, post the introduction by the end of the day on Friday, do the readings, watch my video, and otherwise, welcome. I can't wait to meet you in person. Um, but thank you for being gracious in the meantime. Hopefully, I get a lot of writing done so that this is worth it. Otherwise, have a great time, and I will see you soon.